So YouTube is Boy King say so. Now I'm back before we get to it. Make sure you watch the full video. Let's get into
The last time we talked, I mentioned how authorities executed a search warrant at the Los Angeles property where David had been staying. The place was allegedly being rented by his manager, and it was the last spot David was staying at. When detectives searched the property, they walked out with multiple devices and electronics. And not only that, the house also has security cameras installed, which recorded everyone going in and out.
it. And I did hear that the block, people on this block have cameras too. So
At this point in
I
time,
still don't get like how this nigga got arrested though. Like this be the reason why, in my opinion, people either get away with certain things. People, they disappear. Like mind you, he has money. This is not no broke dude. He can easily go clear out his bank account, get away from his whole uh management team, everybody, or they'll help the nigga. Like bro, like look, I'm finna go to a place. There's no extradition. That's what we gonna work. That's what we gonna do music from. We gonna do music from there. And if they still want their money, they might go with it. Or with all this time, this is giving him time to make up. Oh, this is what happened. They're probably over there plotting, going over every single day, every single thing they get posted. All right, look, this is how we gonna debunk that. All right, look, this is how we gonna debunk that. Cause this is nothing. That's why I don't like the news that much, because like they probably don't give every single piece to the news, but for the most part, the news be showing exact for like at least probably 75 to 85% of what the police had, and then the person who did X amount of things, they know this. You think people like if you committed a major crime, you're gonna watch the news because you know the news is gonna tell you what the police had, at least most of it. That's the I don't like about the news. Like news, at least when it comes to certain things, they should wait till after the fact, and then come talk about it because y'all be exposing what happened. Y'all like that'd be dumb.
investigators most likely have that footage in their possession. Now, when it comes to the search warrant, we've also learned that police are looking into the possibility that Celeste may have been killed inside the home David was staying at. And for anyone who's ever watched the show Dexter, which, by the way,
Uh, that's a given. And she was in the trunk. Now, mind you, it could have happened inside the car, but it was in the trunk. More than like, I mean, it was in the house. They brought her out, put her in the trunk.
is goated. You might remember how Dexter used a spray when he was checking a crime scene. And that spray is called luminol, and it makes even the slightest traces of blood visible under certain lighting. According to LAPD's Scientific Investigation Division, during the 12-hour search of the property that David was staying at, detectives actually used luminol to check for any blood evidence. Because the body was discovered not far from where he was staying, investigators are clearly looking into whether something happened inside. On top of that, they also checked sink drains in case there had been any attempt to wash away any blood. They also swept the entire home for fingerprints and collected hair samples. So, for example, Celeste's hair is found inside. That could be a crucial piece of evidence. So right now, investigators are piecing together a timeline of Celeste Riva's final days.
I said it before though. Even if it wasn't him, it probably was more like somebody on his team, entourage, whatever. Because again, it was a video that it was a video of a girl wearing the exact thing that she was last seen in. Supposedly, the pink sweats and the Hello Kitty Crocs. That's exactly what the girl had on. But she was with his brother. She was with David's brother. So again, it might not even been him. It might be somebody in his team. It might be his brother. It might be the manager. But I think he was for sure dating her. Cause for sure, he was for sure doing something.
They're going back in time through her last known movements, and they're also digging into devices seized from the home that David was staying at. Questions like where was she last seen alive, who was she with, and what led to her disappearance, and obviously what exactly did they do to this little girl. And speaking of her last movements, I did some digging and I came across surveillance footage that shows what are believed to be the last images of Celeste before she vanished from home. The footage comes from a liquor store just down the street from her family's house in Lake Elsinore, California. Security cameras there timestamped just after 7 a.m. on March 19th, 2024, captured a person in a black hoodie and white pants. Celeste's own family actually identified that the person was her, and in the video, you can see her jogging around the corner, switching between walking and running before disappearing from the frame. The store owner, a man named Ellie,
Hey, she was trying to get away before. As a person, again, I hate giving too much info on the internet, but I was in foster care and I ran away and I did that exact thing. That's exactly how I got away. As far as I got good, I did that. I was walking, I was running, I was jogging.
Nadav, later said that Celeste's sister actually came into the store that day asking to review the surveillance footage to check if Celeste had run away.
When she missing first time, her sister come in here, ask me, and we start looking at the camera to find out where she go and if we can find anything to get her back.
When her sister saw the footage, she confirmed it was her, and Nadav gave the video to the family in hopes it would help them find her. And here's something important. This wasn't the first time Celeste had ran away. It's also been confirmed that she left home back in January 2024, just a few months before this case turned into an active missing persons investigation. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to drop.
I believe that time she was found in Hollywood or going. Either that's where she was going or that's where they found her at the first time, and then you end up in the same spot again, supposedly.
A little like for the algorithm, okay? And make sure you tap in with me by subscribing so I can keep you fully informed on this David story. Continuing, so now let's go over some of the other things happening around this story. Not necessarily the investigation itself, but details that are still very important. Starting with the testimonies of people who allegedly saw David and Celeste together. According to people who partied with and knew singer David, a lot of them were under the impression that Celeste was his girlfriend, and many of them say that they were shocked when the news came out that she was only 14 years old. Sources from the LA music scene told TMZ they saw both of them at parties and hangouts, and to them, it looked like they were a couple. So these people...
He was bold. To do that, he was bold. He thought like, hey, ain't nobody for the trip.
Who seen David and Celeste together, they were like, oh, that's a couple right there. That's what they thought. They thought that they were just generally together because I guess that's how they were moving, right? We also found out...
Whether he was dating or not, she should not have been with you.
That some of these people actually thought that Celeste was a University of Southern California student. Shout out to USC. Friends believed she was around 19 years old because that's how she presented herself, apparently. And here's where it gets even more interesting, okay? Because according to law enforcement sources, Celeste was apparently able to move around so freely because she had multiple fake IDs, all in an effort to appear much older than she actually was. So that would explain why people assumed they were together. If David showed up at an 18+ function and Celeste was with him, most people probably just thought nothing of it, right? Now let's talk a little bit about the Tesla itself, because there's actually a private investigator, a guy by the name of Steve Fisher, who managed to obtain photos of the Tesla 5 days before the body was discovered and 3 days before it ended up at the impound lot. Here's what we know, okay? A complaint was first made about the car on August 26th. And just to explain for my international viewers, because not everybody's American, right? When someone makes a complaint like that, it usually means the vehicle has been left unattended for too long and is being reported as abandoned. At that point, there was no mention of any kind of odor coming from the car. On August 27th, just 3 days later, an officer inspected the car. Then on September 3rd, it was ticketed. A couple days later, on September 5th, the Tesla was officially towed, and by September 6th or 5th, I believe it was actually registered at the impound lot. Now, one key detail here, the car was not reported stolen at the time, okay? Very important. So this timeline suggests that the Tesla was just sitting there unnoticed, even after being reported as abandoned. Nobody flagged it as stolen. Nobody connected it to anything bigger until it finally got towed and that discovery was eventually made. Now, one thing that really makes you wonder is, how come there was no smell reported at the time when that first complaint was made?
Because the body it takes time for that to happen, and even for the smell, it don't like this. Ain't the smell leave off the body. It still gotta fill up that whole that trunk part, and then start seeping out, and then it gotta get loud enough to where you smell it from a distance.
It could be that how do you say that word? Decomposition? Decomposition. I'm sorry. English is my third language. My apologies. It could be that the decomposition process hadn't fully started yet, which would explain why nobody noticed an odor back then. But that's something investigators are obviously looking into right now, and until we get the official details, all we can do is note how unusual that part of the timeline really is. Now let's also touch on this photo right here, okay? It's gonna stay on the screen for like 2-3 seconds. Obviously I blurred the woman's face, okay? See this photo right here? Okay, good. Let's also touch on this photo right here that started circulating online of a mystery woman at one of David's shows in the DMV, Maryland. Shout out to Maryland. Shout out to the DMV, okay? Some people are claiming that this was actually Celeste. And from the research I've done, that actually was not her. The woman in the photo does look very, very similar, but it's been confirmed she was not Celeste, okay? Now shifting the conversation to David's career itself, because the reality is he's actually bigger than ever in the middle of all this, right? Recently, David actually had the biggest streaming day of his career on Spotify.
That sadly crazy that always happens. Whether the artist goes to jail or whether they pass away, this happens every time.
Spotify,
because it's people who don't know who this person is. Most of it, I've never heard of this nigga until this situation.
In over 12 million streams in a single day. That's crazy. And I think a lot of it just comes down to the curiosity factor. I mean, a lot of people are just now finding out about him because of this story, which is pushing his name further into the spotlight. So that's where we're currently.
Especially when y'all keep talking he's the major artist. Where? How?
At in this David spelled d4vd story. Right now, we're still very much in the dark on a lot of the crucial details. I know a lot of people are frustrated with the lack of answers, but cases like this take time, especially given the gravity of the situation. Also, let's not forget a little girl's life was lost, okay? And investigators have to make sure they build this case carefully if they want to hold the right person accountable, whoever that person may be. It's also worth noting that David himself hasn't said anything publicly, which honestly does make sense. At the end of the day, this is an active investigation, and his lawyers are probably advising him to stay quiet. On another note, I've been seeing a lot of misinformation about this case going around, and I really want to urge other creators and commentators, don't spread misinformation just for clicks. A child's life was lost here, and the focus should be on accuracy, not sensationalism. I'm personally invested in finding out the truth about what happened to Celeste, because a little girl lost her freaking life, bro.
I want to know what happened and why.
It's only the right thing to do. And my goal whenever I speak on a story is only to give you the facts, not speculation, just what we know.
Cause this shit is getting, it's just dumb and it's crazy and it's foul. And again, bro, I think these are the reasons why courts and courts things be backed up, because they wait so long to do things. They wait so long to do things, and then another case gets added, another case gets added, another case gets added, another case gets people dying left and right. Every minute, every second is somebody passing away. Every time it's you know how people say every time it's a baby born, somebody loses their life. That's very, very true. And people are dying left or right. They say people pass in threes. So that's three cases. So she passed, and then 3 more cases got added on to that. And then 3 more cases got added. Come on, bro. Let's speed this shit up.